Hello, my name is Luke, and today I'm going to be talking about narrative criticism and nonfiction criticism. So, to get right into it, narrative criticism is one method of criticism that analyzes stories to kind of understand how the authors use different aspects of the story to create meaning. It discusses and it looks at the building blocks of any given story, like setting, characters, etc. So, there's like many different aspects of narrative criticism because it relates to narratives and it's really about story. Narrative criticism focuses on the different aspects of a narrative or story that give it personality or value. So this is where I like to ask a couple questions, like, does it bring out an audience's sense of curiosity? Does it create suspense, anticipation, or surprise? So these are the parts that we would analyze looking at narrative criticism. Narrative criticism also looks at causality and how the narrator is leading people through a series of events. In our book cites on page 39, if one event causes a future event to happen, it's usually a major element in the plot, as typically stories present as a series of events in cause and effect relationship. I think of analysis of like a TV news source, like Fox News or CNN would be appropriate, because many times when these news entities are telling a story, they're creating a narrative by picking and choosing certain words, choosing to include certain aspects and exclude certain aspects. A narrative criticism of the various news entities that we have in America could and would show many flaws, including bias, pandering, and inaccuracy. In narrative analysis, one would look at the setting to see if the news story is real, fake, or set in the past, present, or future. And one could also examine the narrator's credibility and examine if the data that is being presented to see if there's any misrepresentations. One would also analyze the meanings of the words used by the news anchors to see the larger picture that they're trying to paint or present to the audience. Now, in terms of nonfiction criticism is an interesting form of media criticism, in my opinion, because it simply analyzes accuracy and the delivery method in which data is given in various nonfiction media works. Our book cites the most common forms of nonfiction work as documentaries, journalism, and TV news, and it says that on page 46. Our book also goes on to talk about frame analysis. And frame analysis, which asserts that a specific perspective on events is inherent in news stories. That's up on page 53, and this is quite evident when analyzing journalism and news media outlets. This concept describes a basic way of stating that we, as media analysts, are to analyze the frame in which one paints their story. And so you can kind of see how nonfiction criticism and narrative criticism can be very similar. Analysis of a TV news source like Fox News or CNN would be an excellent example in this case as well. And it would be a very fun example of nonfiction criticism, because one would get to fact check and make sure that the information that these news sources are giving to the public is actually accurate and or true. Then one could analyze the delivery method and make sure that the information is unbiased and fair, making sure that it isn't just the news entity pandering to their targeted audience. And so my question to you all is, do you think that there is enough media nonfiction criticism in the world? Do you believe that there's enough, or do you think we need more or less? Thank you.